Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you a treat that I like to call my s'more cookie cups. Now I know they sound really fancy, but they could not be easier, and they're like the perfect treat if you love s'mores, but you don't want to have a campfire or have a big elaborate sort of fire outside and all that. These are easy to make and they're absolutely delicious. The ingredients you'll need are very few and basics and very simple ones, especially if you love to make s'mores. You might already have these ingredients on hand. So let me take you over them to get started. You'll need some all-purpose flour, baking soda, some salt, some ground graham crackers. I've got granulated sugar, brown sugar, some unsalted butter that's really softened at room temperature. I've got little Hershey bars. This is just little bars the size that I just cut up into little squares. And then I have some shredded chocolate, which I'll talk about in a minute, an egg, mini marshmallows, and vanilla extract. And that is it. It couldn't be any easier. Now what I did, I took a bunch of these little Hershey bars and I just sort of separated them because I needed like 48 little pieces. And then I took some, because I need about a quarter cup of grated chocolate, and I just took a microplane. You can use your box grater or anything that's sort of like not as fine as a zester. So, and I just grate it just like that. I need about a quarter cup, so I'll leave the rest as my little treat. Now the first thing you want to do is get your oven preheated to 375. What I have here is a mini muffin tin that I have greased with some nonstick cooking spray, and you want to get that out of the way. And I'm just going to make everything in my standing mixer just because it makes my life a lot easier. Now in this bowl, I'm going to add in my butter that's borderline melted because I had it on the stove while the oven was preheating, so it started to melt a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. Both kinds of sugar. And I'm just going to cream them together just so that the sugar is well combined with the butter. That's looking great. I am just going to scrape down the paddle attachment and just the size of the bowl, side of the bowl, just because I want to make sure everything is incorporated. I'm adding in my egg and a good splash of vanilla extract, and then I'm just going to mix this together until everything is combined. Now what I did, I took some graham crackers and I just pulsed them really well in my food processor until it was like a fine powder. That's what I want. So that's what I have here, and I'm just going to take a spoon and mix all my dry ingredients together just to give them a head start. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to get mixed up anyway. I'm just going to babysit this and get it so it's nice and creamy, and then we'll add in our dry ingredients. Perfect. Let's give it a little scraperoo. And now we're just going to add in our dry ingredients. Very simple, kind of like you're making a chocolate chip cookie minus the chocolate chips. I'm just going to add my dry ingredients and the grated chocolate. Now you can totally omit the grated chocolate if you want to, but it makes a difference. And why you'd want to skimp on chocolate is beyond me, but you can omit it if you want to. Just going to let this mix until you got your dough until your dough comes together, and then we'll be ready to get these babies in the oven. That is exactly what I'm looking for. It's at the right consistency for moi. Now I'm going to just take that out. I love how it comes out really nice and clean and effortless, which I love. Push this baby out of the way. And now you can use a tablespoon, or I'm just going to use an ice cream scoop, my little handy dandy ice cream scoop that's about a tablespoon, the size of a tablespoon. And I am just going to take that and pop that into each little muffin cup. And once you have them all scooped out, you just roll them in your hand so that they're sort of into a nice neat ball, and then you put them in your muffin tin. Now, as you can see, I'm sort of pressing them down. You can use whatever you want to make an indent. A rolling pin is not only my Nona's favorite weapon, but it's also multi-purpose in the kitchen. The end of this rolling pin just works perfectly for this, and I've made so many different kinds of cookie cups. I make Nutella, I make Oreo, I make pudding cookie cups, you name it. And if you would like to see them, comment down below. But this works perfectly. So I just take the end of my rolling pin and I just sort of press it right in the middle and wiggle it around, and you can see it makes the perfect indent. I'm just going to continue to do that all around. Perfect. Now I'm going to pop these babies into my oven that's been preheated to 375, and they'll be in there for about 7 to 8 minutes, or until the edges start to get a lovely golden brown color. And when they come out, I'll show you what to do next. My little cups were in the oven for about 9 minutes, and now when they come out, the middle kind of looks a little bit puffed up. But what you do is you take the end of your rolling pin or your spoon or whatever you're using, and then you just reinforce that indent that we made. So we have those done. These just came out of the oven. Now what I've done is I've turned my oven on to broil, because I no longer need the oven on. I just need to broiler on. And I take a little piece of chocolate. Now, this is optional, but you know, I like chocolate. And then I take the little tiny piece. I usually cut this little square in half, and then I put that at the very bottom of each one. Okay, now that you have that, you can add a couple of marshmallows into each one. I'm gonna do probably 3 or 4 marshmallows, depending on how many I can fit. I do like me some marshmallows though, so I'm probably gonna try and do 4 in each one. Some might only be able to do 3, yeah, because they're gonna puff up as they bake. So let's just do a 3. I'll behave. Now I'm gonna pop this under the broiler and just boil them long enough for the top of the marshmallow to look like a light golden brown color, and they do puff up a little bit. Only keep them in there for like a minute. Keep your eye on them because they can go from perfect to burnt in seconds. So about a minute should do the job, but just keep your eye on them. They look perfect. Now you can leave them as is because you do have the chocolate on the bottom, but I mean, well, you know, I just like a little tiny bit on the top, just so that it says the little Hershey logo. That way you can tell it's kind of a s'more. Once you're having a little square of chocolate on top of each one, allow it to sit for about 5 minutes. What happens is the heat from the marshmallow starts to beautifully melt the chocolate, but yet the little piece of chocolate stays in the same shape. But watch. I'm going to take one out. I use this one. It comes out absolutely beautiful. Look how beautiful, lightly and golden that is. But watch this. You see how the chocolate is actually beautifully soft? I know. But it still looks like a bar of chocolate on top, right? I mean, come on. I want you to see the layers. The chocolate at the bottom, marshmallow, the beautiful chocolate on top. Just incredible base. I quit. I quit. I don't quit. I'm only kidding. These are phenomenal. Such a cute little twist on a classic s'more. I would absolutely love for you to recreate this recipe and share a picture with me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you prefer. Nothing brings me more joy than seeing you recreate the recipe. I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll tell you what, these will be the star of your next cookout if you make these for dessert. And the coolest thing about them, in my opinion, is that at the top, it looks like a bar of chocolate, but it's like melted and gooey and delicious. Just do it. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the recipe. Hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Love.